Hey, what up, y'all? It's your boy Degenerate coming at you June 3rd, 2019. Today, I want to look over Bitcoin and like 5 or 6 shitcoin charts. And I want to talk about my opinions when I look at them. Because when I first started looking at charts, I didn't know what the fuck I was looking at for real. Like, obviously, you're looking at price action, but I'm gonna put into concrete words what I'm seeing when I look at the charts. And if y'all have any questions, leave them below. Let me know your thoughts. If you want to counter trade me, take the other side of the trade. That'd be sick. Most importantly, though, practice risk management. That's the most important part of every day. Don't blow up your account today. Have another chance tomorrow to continue with your freedom. So without too much haste, I'm gonna get right at it. And let's see. This is what we're fucking looking at right now. You can see we already had a 9 count on the weekly back there. That just shattered the first 8 candles. This shit worries me right here on this current 9 count. Like, in reality, like, this count can go on forever until it flips to a red number. You could always expect it to go on forever. Though here, in theory, would have been a good place to take profit, following a system, and even more so here, because you have the RSI oversold, you have less volume coming in, you have a weekly candle that opened and closed in the same exact spot. Your 200-day moving average is down here. I'm looking at a volume profile. Like, for real, it's heavily weighed down at 4,000, obviously. That's where accumulation was. That's where weeks of accumulation was. You have 6,600 as a level. For it just to keep going up, like, you're really on this trend line right here. And opening up your Monday, this is what you're resting at. So, quick rejection of it. This is still engulfing the previous one. If you were longing here, I can't give you a good spot to long at. Like, you could say if it's gonna drop below here, then sure, you'll take profit. But for real, that's a whole degenerate mindset. If you were long in here, to say like, oh, I'm only gonna take it if it gets to like 11,000 or something, because my stop's down here and I need a 3-to-1 or something. Like, okay, pal. But if you really think it's gonna reach 11,000 and you think you need to buy in right here, then like, fucking just do it and size in a lot more of your account. You could be sizing in like 30% of your account here and aim for that 30% jump versus or 26% jump rather than like coming down here and then trying to do like a 2-to-1 ratio. That looks like trash. I shorted Bitcoin with like a hedge. Covers about half of my account that I hold in BTC at 88.39, and I was real surprised to see that it got hit yesterday and not stopped out. So I'm hopeful. In reality, like 6,800 is a good target, and for real, I want the bottom of this box. Like, if I don't close it around like the 5,900 level, I didn't follow my trading plan. I fucked it up. or I got scared at some other point and the trade and I dipped out. And I shouldn't do that. And you shouldn't either. When you set targets, you should stick to the plan. I've learned a lot by not sticking to the target. You'll sell for like half the gain you wanted, and then like a day later, it's at the gain you actually wanted. Seller is a good example of this. You never know when price is just gonna take off. So if you find a target that you like, and you've already decided how much risk you're gonna take, maybe just stick with it. But anyway, that's just my opinion on Bitcoin. If it goes up, you should be longing your whole account on this daily range right here. But if you're really trying to play it safe, I would count on this trend line breaking. Your RSI is going lower. You have huge volume there. Your OBV is headed down. Looking at shorter time frames, you just have your OBV's been trending down since like the 8400 level. Not significantly, but still, it is coming down. Your 200 MA on the 4 hours still at 7400, rather than like 60 something hundred. What was it? Oh fuck, down here at 4500. Excuse me. You have a long time to drop that you could drop. So with the amount of bullishness on like online that you see, it really just looks like a PR gamble. I saw a tweet this weekend, that said something along the lines of like, if you would have bought $100 with a Bitcoin every week, starting like December 17th, 2017, and did that all the way through 2018, you'd be 19% in profit right now. Or if you bought it like Bitcoin at any of the previous months, except for 3, you'd be in profit right now. That means that everyone's in fucking profit, okay? You gotta sell these bags to someone. And if you're in profit and you just got into Bitcoin, you're the one that bought someone else's bag in profit. Like, let's be real. Like, you did that. So you can convince to sell to someone new, or I don't have another option. You bought someone else's bag that's been holding it for longer, that made a profit most likely. Whoever bought up here fucking sold their Bitcoin probably like right there or right there. There's kids I know that still hold some Bitcoin from 15,000. Those kids aren't in profit. Sorry, Phil, if you ever watch this. Anyway, let's get into some shitcoins. We're 8 minutes in. Zcoin, obviously. You're on a 9 count. Y'all know what happens on 9 counts. You normally have a 1 to 4 correction period. How high this correction period is, I don't know. But I would like to see it hit 1260. I really appreciate the beginning of that 9 starting around like 2000. You have a long way to go up. There's some people gonna be out there with some outrageous targets. And if you don't believe me, just search some targets that people have on TradingView, and you're gonna be like, oh Lord, what the fuck are y'all doing? There's some degenerate gamblers out there. See this rise in volume the past 2 days with these long wicks falling down? Well, lets me know that there's still sellers in the market willing to give you their Zcoin for a 20% pump. And I don't blame those people. But that's not a part of my trading plan, so I didn't sell at the trend line. I'm still aiming for this like 1260, 1270 area. And I'm going to start trailing my stop after it breaks 1,000, for real. But what this tells me is that there are buyers in the market here. People are eyeing this and they're saying, I'll buy this, I'll buy this, I'll buy this, versus here, you just have such an overwhelming selling capacity. People aren't even buying that. It's just dropping the price. So to see price like stable off the past couple weeks, good for accumulation, but your stop losses have to get that much closer. Like, if you're buying this falling knife, like, sure, you may have a 10% of your account in a trade and a 10% lower, like, stop loss, because you're in fucking no man's land, right, fool? But if you're right here, like, no, your stop loss should be exactly wherever it hits a new low. Or if you're trying to be really, really on it, you could set your buy to, like, right down there at like 801 and buy that bag that you know someone's gonna drop. This, like me, you're gonna buy my bag when I drop it, and hopefully you're at your computer to set your stop loss and update that shit. But yeah, anyway, that's my trade on Zcoin. Storm looks sick. Storm's a real shit coin. It doesn't really have a use value. I think it's a way to pay freelancers with a shit coin for doing work. And it just seems like they're just trying to make a profit, like Fiverr or some shit. Which I'm not really a fan of. But if I can make money off of a product and sell it to someone else, you know, I'm going to. So again, I see this, and last week I saw less volume, but it allows you to put, you know, your stop real fucking close. Like, would you go all the way as low as 734? You could. That's 5% of your account that you're risking essentially, and if your target is double at 82, then you're gonna double whatever you invest in that. So is that a bad risk? No, you can move your stop up pretty close. If you wanted to like play a smaller chart initially, like a daily chart, I think that shit looks good. This consolidation here though, here's the thing. Here's the trend line. And if that shit breaks, I don't want to be in that trade. That's gonna keep coming down for real. Like, you know your pattern. If it's coming down and it consolidates up real weak, it's just gonna keep going down. And I don't know why we would expect anything else. So if you're gonna bet money on this, you might as well make it worth your fucking time. And if you're not trying to bet on that it actually is a fake out or it's accumulation or something else, then I would want to bet a large portion of my account. Probably like, because there's a 9 count, because this volume here, fuck it, dude. I'd probably put like a good 10% of my account on the line here. 10% stop loss gets you to like 35 if you buy it at 39. If you're buying at 41, which is the current high or the current price, you're gonna clock out at 37. And you know, you could for real aim for like 86. If you want to get before that range, you're only getting an 80% gain, but you're cutting it at like 73. And that's not bad. You know, you got 4/5 of initially a double. So, might be worth 1% of your account to gamble on. I'm still looking at Stratus. I think I missed my chance to sell that back at 1,300 last weekend. Where is it? I'm looking at, oh, this is the weekly chart. You know, you have some targets up here at 1,750. This is telling you on this 9 count that you would be aiming at 2,500. I have some levels marked up here at like 4,000 and at 6,500, 8,500, 10,000. Crazy bullish shit. I had a wedge drawn. It did not follow this. This wedge does not give a fuck about what I want at all. Obviously, this breakout here was not what I expected going into 2000, but it didn't hit my stop where I would have started to trail my stop loss. So I'm still in this trade. My stop is still down here at 1056, and yeah, this is just junk. I don't know why I have that on there. But it's outside of the wedge now, so this wedge obviously isn't real, and you know sellers come in at this level, so you could redraw the wedge, but that's just the degenerate gambling at this point. Like, what are you gonna do? Say that this is now the real wedge? Fuck you. You still got like another like 10 days or so before that wedge breaks out. Like, that's some trash. But because it's on a weekly 9, I'm gonna hold it. And if it ends up dropping past my stop loss, I'll consider where that puts me at and maybe gamble another 1% of my account on it. This down here is about the same level on that drop. So, yeah, I'm hopeful. The RSI is sitting around the oversold territory, though the RSI only measures the past 14 periods. So the past 14 weeks, so it's the past 3 months or so. It's only been measuring since February. Which, since February, it's only came down. So, being oversold in a market that's trending down, yeah, like, that's why I'm in a long. I'm looking at Polymath real quick. Again, another 9 count. You see hella volume coming in here, hella volume coming in here, hella volume coming in here. Volume is coming in. That means there is more suppliers coming in to the market. Like, volume is simply a larger amount of buyers and sellers that are transacting. That's all volume is. But because these candlesticks are closing at the relatively same price, people are buying at this price. Does that make sense? You have an excess supply that you can see from right here, and it's being swallowed up that you can see from right here. This 6, 7, 8, the 9's only on day 1. But compared to something like this, very little supply this week on number 4 still dropped. Very little supply on 3. Like half, I would say this is like half the supply of the week before. But it dropped from like 2,078 all the way down. It dropped 25% of its value. So for this to have double the volume and keep its same pressure, that obviously there's a buyer. Like, fuck. So, you know, you have some craziness right there. This is just the daily chart. I would set my stop loss right there. That looks like a good option. 16% of your account, maybe a little much. Maybe you only want to do 10% of your account. You're still looking to double whatever you invest in this. It's something that I'm likely going to look into. Well, I've already looked into it. I've already seen it. Your OBV's on the fucking floor. Your RSI has been only coming up. And for real, if it drops past this level, it's going to keep going down. So, like 1080 is your level. And then on the other side up here, you have like 1400 if it breaks out of like 13 to 1400. And you can see it on the volume profile too, right here. This is where the accumulation's been the past 2 days. I can remove this. But your target should be up here around like 2200. Your 200-day moving average doesn't come until 2600. That's where I would see people taking profit, is around this level right here, because that's where the bottom of some trades were going on. And I see people coming in right here because that is an obvious level to sell at with a 200-day moving average. But other than that, I don't know why you would just be taking profit at like 18. I mean, it's still profit for you. You could still make it worth your time. But if my job as a firm is to maximize my profit, I'm going to be aiming for 22 and 2600 respectively. I think that makes sense. Mana, yo, straight up, mana as high as it's ever been on Coinbase. And you can see that. And it has like 50% to drop. But when you look at the Bitcoin pairing with it, it's as low as it's ever been. And it looks like trash. Would I bet on this? Your 200-day moving average is a good 60% higher than where it could be. Turn off TI indicators, turn off your volume profile. It's at the bottom of where you've had the most amount of action. So this box you could use if you wanted to trade at 914, but for real, that became a box that you could buy at. The last time it was at this price was 2018. January 1st, 2018. And then it broke out. And it's only been higher. So, decent option to buy at. I still think Polymath is a greater option. But comparing that to Elf is like the shittier version of Icon in my opinion. There's all these other shitcoins trying to be Ethereum, and Ethereum is already a shitcoin in itself. It's coming down, it's retesting here. You have a 9 count, this 9 count is lower. Yeah, it didn't break the previous 9 count. And there's a sequential 13 that comes from this 9 count right here. So, you know, it's possible. We obviously see that we have buyers interested and it's ready to fly a lot after 3,200. So, if you were going to buy that, I would just buy it off of the current low. Like, fuck it. If you're going to buy that, just 100x it. Or, you know, if you're really trying to be safe, sorry, I forgot my name's Degenerate. You don't have to be Degenerate. You can use like 12% of your account. Up to the 200-day moving average, that's still a 3-to-1. Do what you want. ZRX / shitcoin I'm looking at. And it's still in the 3,900 level. So if you're going to buy in, 3,901 looks good. You had an aggressive 13 come on yesterday. You can just, sky's the limit. I'm sorry this chart looks so busy. You got a lot going on with it. You can turn that moving average off. But you know, your weekly's on a 9. It's at the bottom of a wedge. If it breaks this wedge, then it has some real pump potential. Like some scary pump potential. So I'm hopeful for that, y'all. And if that happens, why would you not want to like 4 or 5x a trade? So not to just boast some hopium right there, but it is an option on your chart. And look at all that volume that came in like 4 or 5 days ago. And price just sat still. Like, this volume coming down. Just suppliers. Like, there's a supply all the way down. Not a large amount of supply. And you just watch it fall. Until here, there's a pickup in supply. And it's being swallowed and kept at 20% range. About. What is that? I don't know what that is. I don't know economics. Anyways, 25 minutes. I hope y'all analyze your risk and that you recognize that these are all shit coins and they can all go to zero because they cost nothing besides the power it costs to mine them. And just because someone made an idea for a product as a market needs the blockchain, 94% of businesses fail. These co-founders and founders are just gonna dip the second they get their money because they fucking can. So analyze your risk, sell it to someone else, keep your stop losses always set, and I hope y'all have a great trading week. Cheers, y'all.